Aether Revolt previews are still flying at supersonic Rhino train speeds. In this video, we're going to tackle a bunch of new cards spoiled earlier today. Also, in case you missed it, the Mana Source received an exclusive Aether Revolt preview card. You can check out our amazing angel by clicking the link on your screen. You will not want to miss it, so click away. Now with all that said, it's time to dive into the weird robot world of Aether Revolt once again. Walking Ballista is double X for an artifact creature construct that enters the battlefield with X+1/+1 counters on it. You can pay 4 mana and put a +1/+1 counter on it. You can also remove a +1/+1 counter and have it deal 1 damage to target creature or player. Okay, fam, look. This is Standard's upgraded version of Triskelion. That's the only comparison that can possibly be made. No, this is not Hangerback Walker. No, this is not Clockwork anything. This is Triskelion as we're going to get, and it has the ability to add counters to itself. I mean, is this not a straight upgrade to Triskelion in Vintage? We're not talking the Mikaeus combo here, we're talking Vintage shops. Is this not an upgrade? Am I missing something vital that I just don't understand? Because this seems better in a lot of situations. As long as recursion isn't part of the picture, the Ballista, it's looking fine. Call for Unity is 3 of anything and 2 white for an enchantment with Revolt. At the beginning of your end step, put a Unity counter on Call for Unity if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for each Unity counter on Call for Unity. I want to like this, I really do, but remember, Revolt here can only trigger once per turn at the beginning of your end step, so unless you can proliferate the crap out of this— oh, wait, yeah, you can, never mind, this thing's hilarious in Commander. Naturally slow as all heck, with a counter-increasing machine, this is going to get out of control pretty quickly, creating threats out of your smallest creatures. Another interesting counter-based enchantment for EDH. Aethertide Whale is 4 of anything and 2 blue for a 6/4 flying whale. When it enters the battlefield, you get 6 energy. You can pay 4 energy to return the whale to its owner's hand. I really don't know what to say about this card. It's a giant energy producer, more than adequate for limited play. But beyond that, I have no idea what we're working with here. Tribal whales? I don't know. Let's just move on. Baral, Chief of Compliance, is 2 mana for a 1/3 legendary creature human wizard. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Before we get into this, anyone else think Baral was going to be much larger than a 2 mana 1/3? I mean, do you remember the stories of Baral? This dude was so imposing, big, threatening, but he's a little 1/3. Oh, he's so cute. Anyways, in Commander, this is already making stupid waves among players. Talrand players could not be happier. Like, I think doctors should check on them because Baral is a dream. Reducing spell costs and giving you looting triggers whenever you counter something? Come on! Even without that second ability, basically any Izzet player wants this card for 2 mana. Whether it's Melik, Mizzix, Keranos, Arjun, Jorian. Again, most Izzet commanders, plenty of mono blue ones. Baral is going to be a commander mainstay forever, I'd guess. Baral's expertise is 3 of anything and 2 blue for a sorcery. Return up to 3 target artifacts and or creatures to their owner's hands. You may cast a card with converted mana cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. My heart wants to love this card so bad. This expertise is the control player's dream expertise, or at least it's supposed to be. Yes, it's 5 mana, yes, it's sorcery speed, and those other roadblocks, but come on, it's pretty cool, think about it. You get to wreck your opponent's tempo by returning 3 of their creatures, then you get to cast something, add 4 CMC or less, for free. You just swept the board, why not play Tezzeret, or Saheeli, or Dovin Baan? You get a free walker into a probably empty board. This is an interesting control card. I pray that we see some type of control shell running around because a card like this, in the right deck, I honestly think it could work. I don't think it's going to be the next $30 card or anything, but I pray for a little playability. I love Baral's expertise. I know it's expensive, but I don't care. I have to love it. It's in my nature. This next card is causing a bit of a problem. Skyship Plunder is 2 mana for a 2/1 human pirate with flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you choose target, permanent, or player. For every type of counter on chosen target, give another counter of a kind already there. Now the problem is that there are conflicting translations about whether or not the card says target, permanent, or player, or any number of permanents or players. I'd love to give you something definitive, but I haven't gotten a definitive answer myself. It's honestly split down the middle 50-50 on what the actual translation is. So yeah, beyond that, this is basically targeted Thrumming Bird either way, but more aggressive. I don't think anyone would be upset about this ever, especially in commander circles, where this is going to be so easy to trigger it isn't even funny. Think about it. Poison counters, +1/+1 counters, charge counters, all kinds of counters. Versatile cards like these, even tiny ones, are valuable. This is a strong uncommon. And if the translation is correct, this is a pirate, like a pirate. Man, we need a pirate block like now. Yeheni's Wingman is 3 mana for a 3/2 Aetherborn with Revolt. When it enters the battlefield, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end of turn. There isn't much to say about this card other than, well, it's just better than Wasteland Strangler. Of course, the Strangler is an Eldrazi, and that matters a lot, but as far as mechanics are concerned, yeah, this warrior is just better. Revolt is turning out to be crazy powerful. Like, my goodness, this is good. Secret Salvage is 3 of anything and 2 black for a sorcery. Exile target non-land card from your graveyard. Search your library for any number of cards with the same name as that card, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. There's always one card you know you never want to open at pre-release, and this one is that card. Of course, once you get beyond that, Secret Salvage is designed to either help you make some weird combo work, or for you to get more copies of a great card. I think it's pretty safe to say that the only time we're going to see Secret Salvage is when we're trying to build something real dumb. Like with Mechanized Production, or Hedron Alignment, or Shadowborn Apostle, because why not? Oh, Salvage, you a janky, ridiculous card. Indomitable Creativity is X and triple red for a sorcery. Destroy X target artifacts and or creatures. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until an artifact or creature card is revealed and exiles that card. Those players put the exiled cards onto the battlefield and shuffle their libraries. This is a big, giant, crazy strong alternative to Aetherworks Marvel. You get rid of something small you created to potentially place something absolutely monstrous. You could end up using this as removal, but it's risky if they have something better. Certainly a huge, powerful card, I think something like this has a much better home in Commander where it can really spread its wings. You have plenty of creatures and artifacts to target, which will then cause complete chaos, like, Chaos Warp on steroids. Triple red is a tough cost to manage, but I can think of a few decks that might make this work. Duretti possibly, Feldon, Slowbad. There's a market for mass artifact destruction like this. Regardless, check that artwork though. That might be the most impressive artwork in the entire set. Nice. Lightning Runner is 3 of anything and 2 red for a 2/2 human warrior with double strike and haste. Whenever it attacks, you get 2 energy, then you may pay 8 energy. If you do, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Holy butts, Lightning Runner is disgusting. You want to talk about rewards for getting energy in Standard? Look no further. It's honestly good this thing costs as much as it does. My goodness. Being able to chain combat steps? Have you seen Aetherwind Basker? I know it's just a dream, but that's an infinite combat loop waiting to happen. This is also disturbingly synergistic with artifacts. Let's say you crew all your vehicles, attack in, pay the energy, untap everything. You get another combat phase, except this time, you get the creatures you were tapping for the vehicles in addition to the vehicles themselves. That's just so dirty. It really is a good thing this doesn't cost less, because this is one of the strongest energy-based triggers we've seen made so far. It's crazy powerful. Remember yesterday when I made fun of red players because this was their new burn spell? Well, guess what? Karma came to bite me right in the butt. Say hello to Shock, joining Standard again for the first time since M14. I knew it was too good to be true. I should have just kept my mouth shut. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is the beginning of the end. I'm telling you, Shock? Oh, come on. Ugh. Hidden Stockpile is 1 white and 1 black for an enchantment with Revolt. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, create a 1/1 servo token. You can also pay 1 mana and sacrifice a creature to scry 1. See? I told you. I told you Aristocrats was coming back in some form. Another piece of the sacrifice puzzle, really good uncommon. Generates sack fodder for you and helps you dig a little deeper. I am loving this. Outland Boar is 2 of anything, 1 red and 1 green for a 4/4 boar, and it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. This is going to be fine as a limited card, but we're not looking at anything crazy here. I mean, it's nice that it has that servo evasion. It'll force the opponent to block it with something real, but without any types of synergies with anything going on in Standard right now, I think we're going to have to leave this cruel pig in the draft packs. Weldfast Engineers, one of anything, one black and one red for a 3/3 human artificer. At the beginning of your combat phase, target artifact creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Now this is the kind of red-black artifact aggro enabler we've been looking for. Don't get me wrong, aggro decks are the bane of my existence, but I have a thing for red-black artifact aggro, and this is more than serviceable. You can play it during your first main phase, trigger the Copter, go to combat, Copter is gigantic, and you can cut your opponent's clock by at least a turn or two over time. Even using this with Scrap Heap Scrounger, same thing. Powerful uncommon. Is it just me, or are these uncommons impressive? Because this engineer, you can bet he'll be in budget decks at the very least. Just nice. Renegade Ralliers, one of anything, one green and one white for a 3/2 human warrior with Revolt. When it enters the battlefield, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, return target permanent card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield? Okay, it's not just me. The uncommons in this set are completely outrageous. Stick this thing in Modern alongside fetch lands in a collected company deck and you can get multiple fetch triggers. It doesn't say non-land permanent, by the way. You can grab Mana Dorks, you can get Voice of Resurgence, anything at 2 mana or less. For an uncommon, this is a strong card. This is nice recursion. Wow. Rogue Refiner is one of anything, one green and one blue for a 3/2 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card and you get 2 energy. Yes! The Refiner is another amazing uncommon. First thing a lot of players thought of, me included, Emerge. You can drop this on turn 3, get a card, some energy, then emerge the crap out of turn 4 for Elder Deep Fiend. Relevant power and toughness, card advantage, free energy, what's not to love here? Seriously. Now I don't think this is going to see any type of play beyond standard, but I never write off a cheap creature with high power that replaces itself and gives you something else. That is a quality uncommon. Alright, another outrageous day. We need to talk about the uncommon quality in the set. Have we had a set with this much power at the uncommon slot in the past few years? I have no idea. I really can't think of one that stands out as much, at least right out of the gate. Gotta know what you're thinking. How do you feel about Aether Revolt right now? Did the set go where you thought it would? Did it surprise you? What are you most excited for? I gotta know what you're thinking, so be sure to leave your thoughts below and we'll talk about it. Of course, as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. You know, normally I would change this part up and find a couple great cheap cards for you all to look at, but I mean, Aether Revolt. The set's crazy, insane, ridiculous, everything I want it to be. So like I've been saying, and will continue to say, if you want your box of Aether Revolt and you don't have a local game store, or yours is overcharging, TCG Player has them for sale right now for $93 each. Still super cheap, available right at your fingertips. Click the link, helps the channel. Aether Revolt for everyone. Enjoy.
Wow.